This is Our Android Week with Alan Furstenberg in New York, Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia, Duke Carrico in Kingsport, Tennessee, Michael Banks in Augusta, Georgia, and Nate Swanner in Portland, Oregon. This is Our Android Week. And welcome, everybody. Great to have you with us. This is it's going to be a disaster, straight up.
Oh yeah, there's a good way to oversell the show there, Dan.
Yeah, lower expectations, right? Like we're Congress or something. So anyway,
I think you know what, Dan. Despite the fact we only have a couple of people watching us, I think we still have a higher approval rating than Congress.
it was funny. I was watching Wolf Blitzer, and he said, a new CNN poll shows Congress approval at 10%. Basically, influenza has a higher approval rating. Awesome line. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I could tell you that, just not political. I live in Warren County, in Virginia, which is the entrance to Skyline Drive. So I'm concerned for the restaurants and the gas stations and the other tourist trap spots and other tourist destinations that are like Skyline Caverns and things like that will be affected. And we're just one county among, God knows how many in the country. So I hope people work stuff out. Okay, so Bruce is joining us via telephone. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, it's good to be here. The internet gods are not being kind to us tonight.
I know, and we've lost Duke. So it's oh man, I'm gonna try not to put your phone number up on the screen again. Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, that was a fail. That was fail number 8 of tonight so far. Okay, so we'll just be looking at me tonight, which is a bad thing. All right, so first story is this cool Amazon. The original Kindle Fire was kind of meh, but it was a good Android offshoot tablet when it came out. The specs are pretty impressive, and then when the Nexus 7 came out, it really exceeded the original Kindle Fire. But they've really upped their game, and they've got this new thing, the Kindle Fire HDX, and there are 2 features about it that are really interesting to me. But first up, I'll share my screen here. This is, let's see, 16 gig. You can get it Wi-Fi only, or you can get 4G LTE with AT&T or Verizon. So 16 gig Wi-Fi only is $379 with ads. Without ads, it's $394. But I remember some folks that said that it's not bad to have the ads on the lock screen because they're relevant ads. But if you don't want the ads, it's dirt cheap, right? The difference between what is it, $15 difference. So, and then the 32 gig is $444 and just under $500 for the 64 gig version. If you want the LTE, then it is looks like $100 more. You can choose AT&T or Verizon. Some of the features, it's very impressive specs on the display. This is a 7-inch. Now, I was looking, the price I just gave you, if you got Wi-Fi only with special offer, 16 gig, rock bottom price is $380, $379. If you go with the 7-inch version, the rock bottom price is $229. That's very affordable. That's right smack dab in the middle between the original and the second gen Nexus 7, I think. But the specs are impressive. The screen size, 7 or just under 9, but the resolution is good. It's super light. It says powerful quad-core processor with custom Dolby audio. I can tell you that in previous generations of Kindle Fire HD, my mom has one, the audio is dramatically superior to my Nexus 7. Very good. I think it's dual front stereo speakers with Dolby, front and rear HD cameras. And then tech support, which we're going to talk about in a second. It says fast, powerful Wi-Fi. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Introducing Fire OS 3.0 Mojito. So this is an impressive tablet, and there's one feature that might actually cause me to buy one. In fact, I probably will buy one because of this feature, and that is that you'll be able to download videos from Amazon Prime to watch offline. So you could theoretically download the entire season of West Wing or whatever if you're going on a flight or whatever, and watch it when you don't have any connectivity. And basically, I will never again leave the can because I'll have the West Wing 24/7.
Are you saying you didn't have wireless in your bathroom before now?
No, I'm being funny just then, Alan.
I realize that. Yeah.
Um,
But this is a good feature, and it's kind of interesting that it's coming out at right about the same time that YouTube has announced that they're trying to do something similar. I'll be honest, though, I think I like the Amazon approach more.
Tell us
The way,
what's different about it between YouTube and Amazon Prime, because, and it's important to note for regular Android tablet users, there is no
There is no Amazon Prime.
there's no
for
Amazon Prime
Tablet.
instant video
For-
app.
yeah.
You can do a hack. I use is it not Plume, Puffin. If you download the Puffin web browser, then you can. It's clunky, but it works. You can watch Amazon Prime instant video because that you can use Flash with that browser. That's their claim to fame, and that's why people buy it. It's not that expensive. It's a couple bucks, I think, but it does play Amazon Prime videos. But again, it's not an optimized great interface by any stretch, but it does work. So go ahead and tell us why you think Amazon Prime, their approach here is superior to what YouTube is planning on doing.
I don't see it in this article the way it was written, but the way the YouTube offline seems to work is you can select what you want downloaded, and you can download it, and then after 48 hours it'll disappear from your download. So whether or not you've reconnected back to a network or not, it just goes away after 48 hours. The impression I got from the Amazon one was that once you've downloaded something, it will stay downloaded, but you did need to check in on occasion.
So it's more like a service like I use, formerly Napster to go. Now I forget what it's called. It's something, but they do the same thing. I think it's not Rhapsody. It's
I don't remember. Anyway,
Rhapsody to go, and so they do that. But they DRM protect them, so you got to check in every 30 days, or the files just expire and won't play. And I have no problem with that. But
Right,
that way, I don't have to have connectivity to listen to or view the media.
Right. I don't have a problem with needing to check in once in a while. My concern is 48 hours seems like an awfully short time that that I will lose it and have to re-download it again. If it locked after 48 hours of no network contact, okay, I could understand that. Won't necessarily be thrilled, but I can understand that. But to just automatically, wipe it out and force me to re-download it again, whether
It
I've
seems
checked
like
in
a
or
waste
not,
of
that's annoying.
bandwidth. It's a waste of bandwidth. I mean, to have to download something repeatedly, and a video is no joke. It's a big file. To download, and I don't know if it's. I guess it's not an MP. I don't know if MP4s have DRM, or is that how they?
I don't know
So
how they're doing
maybe
it.
there's no DRM, but it just expires. I'm not sure what they're doing there.
Well, I think that might be part of it, is that YouTube, is just going to nuke it after 48 hours to try to reduce the amount of piracy involved. But honestly, I don't know. It just, it seems like Amazon's more focused on actual use of this feature, whereas YouTube and Google are just trying to kind of, do something because they feel like they have to do something.
Maybe this leaked to either side prior to, and they're both in a race to do it. I'm not sure. Why don't we ask Bruce? Bruce, what do you? I'm very
Bruce
impressed.
has disappeared,
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, Bruce dropped out.
but
I
Duke
made
is
it
here.
back.
Is he coming back? Should we call him again? From a secret number, which I accidentally sprayed on the screen earlier.
Duke, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm just hoping that Netflix is watching. I think this is good. 48 hours, I guess if they're wanting to protect it, I don't know that 48 hours isn't unreasonable. But with that said, I mean, look at our books. I might stop reading a book and it might be 3 or 4 weeks before I pick it back up where I left off. So can you apply it? Is that the same thing? I don't know.
I don't know. My theory on the 48 hours isn't so much that I don't mind it if I need to check in. every 48 hours. Not necessarily thrilled. 48 hours seems a little short, but I can understand the reasoning behind it. What I'm bothered by is that it sounds like the YouTube version will just disappear after 48 hours, whether or not I've checked in or not. After 48 hours, it goes away. And that's an unreasonable design in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I download something, I want it there when I want it. I don't want to have to keep downloading it every 2 days. That's just stupid. That's making extra pointless work for me.
Yeah, I hope they fix that. I'm not sure what their terms of service are with the content creators and what their motivation was for that
Right.
as a way.
And admittedly, the YouTube one hasn't been officially announced yet. So this is just, you know, the early reports on what it's going to be.
So we're critiquing an alpha version. Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah.
And with the
We're critiquing a rumor.
and the Kindle's big competition for the Nexus 7 and for other Android devices. So I'm sure they're going to be paying close attention to this. I can give you a good use case scenario, guys, because I had a cookout with just some neighbors. We do a neighbor cookout, and and of course a black bear, you know, always. But what happened was my friend's girlfriend's kid came, and he's like 9 or 7, 8 or 9, something like that. Cute little kid in a cowboy hat, and he was bored because there weren't other kids, you know, too many kids. And so I said, well, you know, I brought my Nexus 7 out, and he was able to play some games on there. It was sort of a babysitter tool, so he wouldn't be bored or be less bored. And I was just thinking, like, if you were a parent, wouldn't it be neat if you were in a situation where there wasn't, in this case, there was connectivity, but he didn't really know, I don't know how much he knew how to operate one, but wouldn't it be neat if you could put some kids' videos and stuff and load it up if you're at a wedding reception or a cookout or a train trip or anything where, you know, you want your kid to kind of have something to do when he's in a situation where he'd otherwise be very bored.
Well, absolutely. And I think part of what my thinking on this is a lot of kids have shows or episodes that they like, that they always go to. Kids don't mind repeating the same thing over and over again. And they like repeating the same thing over and over again. And they'll watch the same thing over and over again. And you get what I'm going here.
Yeah.
So for parents,
You're saying it
loading
over
those
and
videos-
over and over again.
Exactly. They'll watch something over and over again. So for parents, loading those videos onto the tablet, that's great. You don't have to worry about whether you've got connectivity or not at any given moment. It's there. The kid can pick exactly what they want. If it disappears after 2 days, you've now got to re-download it every 2 days. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I think that's. We'll see what. Again, as you said, that's
Yeah, we'll see what the reality is. But
reports
you know,
about a upcoming feature. We don't know yet, but I mean, Google's competitive, and they know what Amazon's doing, and they're going to be looking at this feature, and they're going to be looking at. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this device. The price point's right. It's a nice device. The only
you
criticism.
highlighted one other feature on this, Dan, and that's the Mayday button.
Yes, tell
are your
us what
thoughts
the
on that?
Mayday button is. That is another really cool thing, because like my mom is not a tech guru. She's no dummy either, but I could see where that would be a neat feature if something goes wrong. And my mom is 75, and she loves her. She has multiple Kindles, and tell us what this feature does.
It sounds like an interesting feature from what I've read about it. Basically, it's going to enable people to start an app that connects to Amazon, and basically lets you ask them questions. And you know, by default, that your camera will be off, but you can turn it on. There will be a camera on the person who's helping you. You can, if you wish, let them take control of your tablet and point things out to you. You know, so they can show you what app you need to run, where things are located, show you how to do things, but not necessarily do it for you. I think it's a clever idea. I think it's nuanced in just the right ways to actually help somebody. You know, so it's not going to take over your desktop, but it's a nuanced control. And I think that, you know, understanding that nuance may be difficult for some users, but I think it's very, very carefully done. Duke, you were nodding vigorously there. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah. I think that's great. You know, I was just thinking in the early days of Google Plus when I was feeling my way around, I would have loved to have had a a one button help desk.
Frankly, it's more efficient, right, Duke? I mean, so if someone can just show you as opposed to have to try to explain to some noob on the phone, it's a lot quicker, right? And it doesn't cost them anything extra to do it once they build the software.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I mean, it's show me how to do it. Don't necessarily do it for me.
Yeah, I think it's, and also, but what's interesting is Jeff Bezos described this as one of the best things we've ever done at Amazon, but it seems to me like it's more a. Do you think it's a practical thing or more a publicity thing? I mean, I don't see like what can go wrong on a tablet. I mean, I've never had a.
You're kidding me, Dan.
No, I'm serious. I've never had my Nexus.
Dan,
I don't
it's
think
not
I've
so
ever
much-
had to reboot it. I don't think it's ever crashed. I mean, I've never seen the blue screen of death
Oh
on
my,
my
Dan,
Nexus 7.
how much? Dan, does your mother have a cell phone?
Yes.
Does she have is it a smartphone?
She just recently chose Android over iPhone when she upgraded from a feature phone to a smartphone. Yes.
How many calls have you gotten asking for help?
Not many after she initially got it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she's using the full feature set. It means
Right,
she's able to
and that's it.
get
I
what
mean,
she wants done.
Let's put it
and-
this way. I have my parents recently got a Nexus 4. Okay, my mom recently got a Nexus 4. It's hers, not my father's. Every month I get more questions, and that's fine. I have no problem helping her. My friend who is an iPhone fan, every time I'm over there and his mom is nearby, she's like, oh, by the way, how do I do this, that, and the other thing? Yeah, it's not so much that things go wrong on tablets, it's that people don't understand how to use them, so they've got questions about them. So having a resource for people who don't have a geek in the family is an important one-button tool. I think it will be very helpful for people just to be reassured, hey, if you've got a question, press this button and we've got answers.
And a lot of those questions might be, I can't figure out how to purchase a product from Amazon on my tablet.
It'll be interesting if that becomes
And
a
so
good
obviously
sales-
they're motivated to
Yeah.
give you assistance, in purchasing a product. I think it's a win. I mean, I'm excited to see what Amazon's doing with these things. It's not pure Android, but then neither is TouchWiz from Samsung. So
Yeah,
you
but
know.
we make fun of Samsung, or at least those of us who don't have one.
you guys do it just to troll me and Bruce.
No, we
who's
do
no
it
longer
because you
with us,
mention
but
them
there's
every
this-
single show.
There's this picture. All right. So So are we good on that? Any further thoughts?
Oh, we're Marvy on it.
Bruce is totally incommunicado. Michael is on a chocolate high. He's shared us when we invited him to join. He responded. He didn't need to say anything. He just showed us a picture of a liquid chocolate fountain, and obviously that is more appealing than any of us. He's probably
Michael-
giggling at something right now on a chocolate high, I'm guessing.
Michael is at the Google Top Contributors Summit this week, and we'll be getting a full report from him on Friday night's Google Plus Week show. At least we hope.
Excellent. Yeah, that's excellent. Okay, so that happened. All right, moving along. The FAA. This is just kind of doesn't have to be a long thing, but the FAA nears new rules on devices. It's a New York Times article, but it's
Dan, I don't know why you picked this article because it's from last week and it's out of date already. Because today they announced the new rules.
okay.
Or what-
I stand
They
corrected.
announced what the proposed new rule or the recommended new rules are. So basically, a committee of pilots, engineers, everybody who's got an interest in this, probably except for the consumers themselves, made a recommendation to the full FAA proposing what some new rules for use of electronic devices on airplanes would be. And basically they're saying, let's apply some common sense. There's no technical reason to not allow these devices during takeoff and landing, as they've been disallowed in the past. So let's allow them. There's no reason not to. There are some restrictions. There's still going to be limitations on devices that have active radio use during takeoff and landings. In fact, I believe during the flight as well. So you're not going to be able to have um, your phone with a data connection running during takeoff and landing, but you'll have the phone running itself. And
You still can't play Words with Friends while the plane's on the runway. But it sounds like once it gets up in the air, if you've got a Wi-Fi connection or a data connection, you can start playing Words with Friends again. Correct?
But has there ever
Yes.
been a case where a plane has crashed because somebody was playing Words with Friends or doing anything else on their phone? Do we know?
no, and that's the point.
For decades. I remember there was a West Wing episode where I think
It's not-
Leo's
it's
on
not
the
the-
airplane and he's like I personally bought this plane or these planes and
Dan,
I mean it's just
if
crazy.
you're going to get the line, get it right. And it's from the pilot episode.
Okay.
And it's Toby Ziegler saying, this plane came off the assembly line 3 months ago. And you're telling me that I can mess it up with a piece of equipment I bought at Radio Shack?
Yeah. Epic line. But
But-
I mean the frustration remains, so I guess they're addressing
Right,
it,
so,
baby
you know,
steps
the-
from the government.
The other big restriction is that you're not going to be able to actually use it to talk voice. So they did say that they don't want people, chattering away for a 4-hour flight. And that's a good thing in my mind.
Me too. I think that's a good rule.
But the one note of caution comes from flight attendants who are worried that increased use of devices during these times means that people aren't going to pay attention in case there actually is an emergency. And I think that's a valid concern. But hopefully, in case there is an emergency, the person sitting next to somebody who's typing away on their phone will smack them upside the head and say, "Yo, dumbass, pay attention." Maybe would be nice.
I got to tell you, I don't agree with you that that's a reasonable concern. I think if the plane starts crashing or the oxygen masks fall or everyone starts screaming, "Oh my God, the wing's on fire," I can't see someone buried in their texting,
Really? No, Dan. You really can't see somebody buried.
No, I think,
Tweeting out the fact, plane on fire, about to crash. You really can't see somebody doing this?
maybe they
honestly?
can alert those people via text. They can get their numbers ahead
or,
of time.
or sitting there going like this.
I mean, if you're that stupid, maybe you
totally
don't
oblivious
deserve
to
to
what
be
the hell everyone is.
saved.
You really can't see somebody doing this? Really?
I mean, I guess they're stupid people.
Yes.
We're a nation
yes,
of
it's called like
300
most of the
million.
population with cell phones.
Okay.
Saw a sign a while back that said, "If the building's on fire, please
Do
evacuate."
not tweet while exiting building. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I loved it, man. I loved it.
And it would be funnier, except for the fact that people probably are doing it.
Yes.
This show renews my faith in the human species on a
Well,
weekly
listen.
basis.
I mean, I know that's not what this article's about, and we can talk about whether or not it's safe to talk and tweet and so forth, etc., on takeoff and landing. But there is some etiquette that goes along with this, and yeah, I support them. I mean, if they say, well, it's just rude to be sitting beside somebody while they're yakking on their phone, I can go along with that, But that's just me.
All right. Next up, Gmail for Android freshens up a bit, and there are hints that ads are on the way. Who's got this? I don't know if I have it or not, to be honest. I think I got it, but I'm not sure.
Well, my Gmail updated, but I haven't noticed ads, disguised as emails yet.
No, my understanding is that the ads didn't get activated at this round, just that it was noticed in the binary, so it's either scheduled to be turned on later or it was code that was, not activated, not quite ready for prime time or whatever. I haven't noticed an update on mine yet. I mean, it has some other features. It's not like they pushed this out for no reason. But most of the other features seem like they're still trying to play catch up with their major UI overhaul from a couple of months back.
I love this. First, the top comment is a mention of the Scroogled campaign. This frustrated consumer, even though Microsoft does exactly the same thing, just filters it for spam instead of ads. And anyway, so okay, so I wouldn't Yeah, apparently there's some marginal improvement. Good for them. I don't have a problem with ads on the mobile version. They'll be subdued. I mean, they'll be subtle, right? They won't be like a 30-second video to watch before you can read your freaking email, right? Can you imagine if you had to watch a little 10-second video before every text? Oh my God. All right, so no one cares about this story. This is
We're all leaping with excitement over it.
how to host a show 101. Just watch this show and you'll know everything not to do. This is a ratings bonanza topic. Google adds status indicators to Hangouts for Android. So I guess now when we say Hangouts, of course, we're talking about the new meaning of the word. It's kind of
Dan, you need to get in the modern age.
I know.
Hangouts are hangouts.
Hangouts are Hangouts. So now you can tell if someone's online, which I guess is good if you're looking for someone, and bad if you don't want any stranger from some country you've never heard of, you've never met this person.
Well, no, because you can still block yourself. You can still mask that information from people who aren't in your circles or who you don't care about. It's not like you're going to be advertising to the world, hey, come hit on me. This is no different than what we had before. It's slicked up a little. It looks nicer. Works just as well, which is to say it doesn't work at all. What? No, that's the reason why they pulled it.
And
And
we're
the
their
reason-
friends.
The reason why they removed the feature in the first place is because being able to determine when someone's online is totally unreliable. If you're doing this from a cell phone, you're always online. Therefore, you're always showing up as being online. Therefore, what the hell's the point?
What's the algorithm? I mean, how do they determine if you're on? What's the definition of online? Like you're currently in the Hangouts app, or you have it running, or which would
What
be
does
anyone who
in that-
has
what-
it, right?
This is Android. What does that mean?
Someone who's done something on their phone in the last minute. I mean,
But what is? I mean, that's the problem, and that's why they got rid of it.
because traditionally, like a website, when they say there's so many other users online in this forum, they would use some sort of measurement, like the number of people who have refreshed a page in the last X number of seconds or minutes.
right, but you
some
can't.
sort of
but, that,
metric.
but that doesn't make any sense when you're talking about a cell phone, and not when you're talking about chat, because chat can be a totally passive experience, and you just had the chat client backgrounded on your phone because you want to get notifications for
Is that
it.
a word?
Backgrounded?
Yeah.
Of course.
Did you just
it
make
is.
this shit up?
Of course I did. Somebody has to make it up.
He's a developer, not limited to software, but the English
Hey.
language.
Okay, fine. You want to look this up?
I'm trolling you. I'm sure it's a technical word. May not have hit Webster's yet. Now, see, you call into question his integrity or his linguistic integrity, and he immediately has to all things stop. And his background in a word, I'm just going to type it in Google.
Backgrounded, Wiktionary. Verb, simple past tense and past participle of background. Adjective, move to the background, made non-interactive.
I don't see any Webster's or Merriam or.
Oh,
All
look,
right.
you're going to actually trust a dictionary that has twerk in it? Seriously?
You're just jealous because I'm better at it than you are.
At twerking?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen video yet, dude.
No. I'll sing
And we
for
don't
you, but
want
I
to
won't.
either.
I will sing for you, but I will not twerk, and I don't know how to twerk. And I haven't actually even seen the Miley Cyrus thing. But anyway, I think we've digressed. All right, so we're all excited about status indicators to Hangouts
This
for
is
Android.
exciting. This is actually, this is a feature that people asked for as soon as they took it away. So, 3-4 months ago when they took it away, people said, where the hell is it? And they're bringing it back. It's really as simple as that.
But don't you, okay, if your phone's been dormant for an hour, okay, and it says your status is you're away. If I were to send you a message, because I'm on your, I'm not on your block list or whatever, you'd get a notification, and you weren't really away. It's a push notification if you have the app installed. I'm not sure what and I get stuff from some name I can't even pronounce from a country I'm not really sure exists, and they want to invite me to a video call.
Well, why do you
Or
have that
whatever.
person in your circles anyway?
They're not in my circles. Can't someone just initiate, or I forget how it works. How does it work?
We actually have a couple of comments on this
Oh.
subject.
Wow.
From Andrew. Android makes you online when your screen was on, and the comment suddenly disappeared from me. I can't read backwards. Dan,
And it's
can you read
away.
this?
Yeah, Android made you online when your screen was on, and away when your screen is off. The comment's still up.
I see the comment is still up. I am now unable to get rid of it.
Interesting. We'll have to get Moritz on this ASAP.
And Moritz is also at the top contributor subject. Summit. And he followed up saying that, of more interest was the fact that it's also got moods and some other features that are part of the status indicator now. So it seems like they've got an overall status revamp as part of this app.
Do you post moods? Yours would be just basically a 24/7 grumpy cat image.
You can't handle my moods!
I guess that's for teenagers. I don't know. I think MySpace, you could do that. You'd post a mood, or Facebook. I don't know, one of those stupid services that all of us
Is
use.
twerking a mood, Dan?
I don't know. All right, are we good on that, would you like to address the status indicators to any
No, I've
further
got nothing
extent?
further on the status indicators.
What about Duke? Are you?
Well, I never thought I'd say this. I'd like to have Google Talk back. When
Oh,
they,
good Lord, I don't, but why?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I always thought that all this chat unification would be good. I mean, we had Messenger, we had Talk, but the way that Google has implemented this, especially within Google Plus, is it all seems to get lumped in with notifications. I've got people that, just like Dan, that I've never heard of, but they put me in some sort of circle and they invite their whole circle. I don't know half of them. I'll leave the conversation, and lo and behold, the next day they started all over again doing exactly what they did the day before. It's it's a big cluster now, and it didn't used to be that way for me when it was just a standalone messaging product.
So I don't know. I like the integration, although I really wish they'd actually, integrate it instead of having these kind of. It's still way, way far from actually integrating things. So I'm still waiting for that to actually happen.
I am too. And I hope that it'll get better. But as it is right now, I'm not crazy about it. I'm really not crazy about it. As far as the notifications, I'd like to see that come back the way it's implemented now. I mean, you see these they're semi-transparent. The people who are on have supposedly read it. It's not a good system as it is now.
See, I like that aspect more than what was before, when I had no clue if somebody's caught up on a conversation or where they are in the conversation. I like the positional indicators. I think they could be improved, and I think there are a couple of glitches, but it's better than it was before when I'd send a message out and I've got no idea who's read it.
To be fair, though, this is, you've had several services going in different directions for several years, and they're going to try to bring them together. And all the services are heavily used and popular, and it's not easy. And frankly, we've had discussions about this when they first talked about unifying it, and that's what Google Plus, a lot of that was about. They realized that, people had to have multiple Gmail addresses to have separate YouTube pages, for different purposes, and all these different things. And they have a Google Apps thing. Like right now, I have a paid Google Apps account. I can't use those features with my Google Plus account that everyone knows, and I have all the followers on, or circlers or whatever. All these different identities, and it's a tough nut to crack. It really is. And if I had to sit here and think of a better way, I'm not sure. I certainly couldn't come up with it. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but they're going to do baby steps, just like we saw, like we talked on Friday, on Google Plus Week about the Google Plus commenting system being sort of slowly implemented on YouTube. That's a risky endeavor, to risk pissing off that hugely popular platform, and they got to do it very carefully. So
I totally disagree with that. I think it's the best thing they could do for YouTube. I find YouTube comments very immature, and I think by doing it this way, it's going to show a little bit of accountability because it's going to be your Google Plus profile. Like I say, man, it's
that largely reflects the audience on YouTube, though. It's mainly what 10 to 12-year-old boys, right?
Yeah, well, 10 to 12-year-old boys are going to grow up to be men, and they need to learn how to behave in the online world just like the real world.
And Duke will personally whoop their ass if they troll his videos.
Well, like
comments.
I say,
I agree with Duke on this one. We've got a couple more comments from Andrew. Activities are driving, biking, etc., suggesting that it will determine what you are doing automatically. I agree with Andrew on this one. Google Talk was always crap. When you tried to do group conversations, Hangouts works brilliantly.
okay.
I think it works. I'm not sure I quite agree with the brilliantly part, but I very much like how it's working these days, and I really am looking forward to improvements in it.
I totally agree with you guys that YouTube comments are lacking. My point is that they've gotten so much pushback as they've implemented the Google Plus features, or forced them down our throats, or as the trollers would describe it.
They've made some
And
major
so-
missteps
And
on
so
the integration.
they should be cautious as they implement. Obviously, Google Plus is coming, and this goes back to a comment you made very early on
I made 2 years ago.
that said, "Will Google Plus even be a destination in itself several years from now, or is it just going to be what they initially described it as, a social layer across all Google products?" And that was a very prescient point, very interesting question. And as we evolve, it is sort of becoming, it's part of Gmail, and that integration's been excellent. I mean, you can write in your Gmail on mobile. You don't have to go to the Google Plus app. Right in Gmail, you can respond to posts, and it removes that notification from Google Plus if you respond to it in Gmail, and it's just really nice integration done there. But
And
YouTube is
for
so popular
everyone-
and so well used. I think they're being cautious as they put this forward there, because they don't want to risk alienating users with this new thing that they're not thrilled about.
And for all of our viewers, all 5 of you, who are interested in this sort of thing, don't forget that we have a weekly show on Friday nights, starts about 8:30, and it's actually called Google Plus Week. As opposed to this show where we talk about Android stuff, Dan.
Yes.
Which brings us to our next topic, maybe. That Google Search for Android update includes some improved Google Now cards. I don't know, have you checked out the new Google Now cards on this one yet, Duke?
You know what? I saw this, Alan, and I have not experienced this. I don't know if it just hasn't rolled downhill far enough to me yet, but listen, I'm excited about it coming, but I haven't experienced it. First of all, I love Google Now. I think it's just really cool. I don't find it creepy at all how Google knows so much about me. And yeah,
You don't mind being scroogled?
No, let me tell you something. Yeah, I guess, what could you call me? I like being scroogled. How's that?
Yeah, I like being scroogled. I mean, it's useful stuff, you know. So I'm showing some of these cards here, and it looks like a related website for current location. So I guess if you were pulling in, for example, to Disneyland or a stadium for a concert, it might suggest the website with parking directions or that sort of thing. Real-time sports and flight updates, no 15-minute delay. You can set reminders from Google searches for album and book releases, TV shows. The Breaking Bad finale comes to mind. If you did a bunch of searches in Google about the Breaking Bad finale. Maybe it would remind you that that was coming up. Car rental reservations, event tickets for select websites, improved, I'm guessing there's money involved there, improved public transit
Well, you'd
card.
be surprised. There probably isn't a lot of money there. All of that's tied into some of the API stuff involving Google Now that I talked about back after I/O. And I think a lot of that, and probably a lot of these results in general, are directly responding to iOS 7, which has some similar features in some different ways tied into Passbook.
And then I see, just to round out the list here, additional smart TV cards for news and music currently on television. I got that to work once, and it was kind of cool, kind of a niche use case. But, this is a pretty, this product is in the toddler stage, I would say. It's nice, but it's not reached adolescence yet. It's going to get better. Ability to tell family and friends when you've left work. That could be problematic, I guess, if you're cheating on your old lady. Choose calendars and edit reminders and etc. But
Whoa, whoa, whoa! You gloss over that one like it's nothing. I actually am looking forward to that one and seeing how well it works, because it's really annoying to me when my Google Now cards are filled with my boss's calendar items because I follow his calendar. It would be great if I could say, okay, great, I want to follow this calendar, but I don't need to know when he's about to leave for a meeting. That doesn't need to show up on my Now cards. So that, I think, is a great feature, being able to differentiate between calendars that I'm interested in and calendars that I'm very interested in. And I think Now is going to start learning the difference between those things soon.
I wish this is really a Google Plus Week topic, but it's sort of related to this. If I invite you, if I don't know who you are, and I invite you to an event all about Botswana, and maybe you're not particularly interested in attending that event because you don't care about Botswana, or whatever the topic is, your options are, say you're not going to attend the event, which alerts me, and you might not want to do that. You just want to sort of like ignore it and not be rude. But if you don't say no, which would send me an alert, a message saying Alan has said no, he's not going to attend your event, which you might be reluctant to do out of fear of offending me. The other, if you don't do that, then you're going to get reminders about this event that you've never asked to be involved in, nor have you agreed to attend.
I have no idea where you're going with this one, Dan, but go ahead and look at your calendar settings because it may fix what you want. We've got this comment again from Andrew, who must be our only viewer this evening.
No, we actually have, I'll prove it here. We have, I think, 11.
Ooh,
14.
we're up to 11.
We have 14.
Anyway, Andrew says, sighs and says, Google Now Update is still largely US only. We still don't have the ability to use hot words. I don't know where you are, Andrew, but I'm kind of guessing that you're somewhere in the European Union. And, I think that kind of suggests why you don't have a lot of these Google Now features. Some of them are because the engineers are probably in the US.
Google
But
hates
some of it-
Europe. No, I'm just kidding.
It's more like Europe hates Google. And that's why
France.
Google is very cautious when trying to do stuff.
But France is really big on Google products, especially the Scroogled stuff. But all joking aside, the comment system, throw a comment up there real quick. Let's just give a plug for Moritz and Gerwin and you and everyone else who's been a part of this. Say something so it pops up there, Alan.
Okay, so I brought up a comment from earlier.
Yeah,
this evening.
just tell us where folks can get this commenting system.
This commenting system is part of the new Hangout Toolbox, which all of you should be able to have if you're doing a Hangout or a Hangout on Air. The lower thirds that Duke and I have been using are also from the Hangout Toolbox system. Moritz and his team have done some really great revamping of the comment tracking system. So we have a nice, pretty display here. If you haven't used Hangout Toolbox in general, I strongly recommend it.
It's gorgeous, and we highly recommend it. It's I said this, and I wasn't joking or exaggerating. It is our go-to app for every show that we've done since it came out, and it's fantastic. It's the thing that does the lower third. You see Alan there with his lower third. It's a completely free app, and these guys do a really good job updating it, and so we're excited to promote that.
Just
Even though,
want to throw in that in addition to the lower thirds, it also gives you a volume control to where you can actually raise and lower or mute the whole Hangout if you need to. And yeah, it's got some very nice features. We do highly recommend it.
unfortunately, because Alan's involved, there's a back door that prevents anyone from adjusting Alan's volume. But that's a separate. That's an
You
internal.
can't handle the volume.
That's an internal personnel matter. We shouldn't bring to
Let's
the
keep going, Dan.
forefront. Okay, so next up is
NBC.
NBC. Okay, there's a couple apps. I told these guys, I said if you want to steal them, you can as your recommended app of the week. But there's two apps that are interesting. I just wanted to highlight, and I'm not recommending them because I don't have either of them, although I may get both. I just didn't have time, but I saw them and they were noteworthy. One is this NBC app. NBC, like its the other U.S. networks, has an app out now, and as you can see here, you can watch. It offers full episodes completely free. You don't have to prove, like with Xfinity, that you're a subscriber to a cable channel. And so here I see America's Got Talent, Hannibal, Chicago Fire, Days of Our Lives, Hollywood, just a wide collection of different things. The Voice, of course, is a big hit. And the new show, I forget, which has gotten rave reviews, that comes on or premiered after The Voice this past week. And there's Christina Aguilera, My Future Wife. So anyway, that's one app that's cool, that's free in the Play Store. I just wanted to highlight that, and you folks are welcome to weigh in, try it out, and give us your thoughts. And then the other app I wanted to just mention here is, or first, any thoughts on the NBC app before I move to the Square Enix one?
U.S. only, so Andrew is out of luck again.
Yeah, we get hit with that. Just to make our European friends feel a little bit better, a lot of the stuff like on BBC and stuff is we can't watch. But obviously, it's like a 99-1 on the unfairness scale, because like we're privy to a lot more than you guys are. And it's got to be very frustrating when you're a loyal Google user, a loyal YouTube viewer, and you're treated like literally a second-class citizen, and are unable to do this. Often it is because they haven't yet dealt with the rights issues in all of the multiple jurisdictions. And sometimes it's because, frankly, some of these European governments are just out of their minds with expectations on what rights holders should have in terms of rights.
So what's this other app, Dan?
The other app is from Square Enix. I was introduced to Final Fantasy with the 10th iteration, which is, I guess, the last good one they've put out, and it was just amazing and epic and awesome. But each of their versions were good, and they just kept getting better until 10, and then they kind of took a slide to where the CEO or founder actually apologized. But they have ported Final Fantasy V, and I can tell you, as far as time wasters go, it doesn't get any lengthier, other than Google Plus Week perhaps, it doesn't get any lengthier or more awesome than Final Fantasy. But 5 is available. These are not cheap, but if you look at the reviews, like it's got 242 reviews, 4.5 stars. If you go to their other stuff, which has been out longer, they're all highly rated. They're all $16. Here's 3. It's all 4.5 stars, 4 stars, whatever, with tons and tons of reviews. And if you're a Final Fantasy fan, then this is something you should scoop up. This came out just a few days ago. So if you are a fan, you should check it out and consider getting that one, because and I hope if they can put 10 out, and by the time they get around to it, tablets and stuff should be adequate to render that, because I just remember it's like watching a movie. It really is. It's that good. They really knew what they were doing. Any thoughts on Final Fantasy? Have you guys ever played it?
I haven't, and it does look cool. I'm not a gamer whatsoever, but I can understand the appeal here. It does sound like a nice port. I actually saw a review a couple of days ago on it somewhere. But you were talking about what a great time waster it is. Well, I waste time on Google Plus. I don't need any more time wasters.
It's more like when you're in a great book I mean, a fantastic book or watching a really epic movie like Avatar or something. I mean, or you know, any kind of movie like that, and Spielberg, Lucas, James Cameron, one of those guys who really know what they're doing, and it just is a complete escape mechanism. You're transported to a different place in time, and you can really be entertained and swept away and imagine this world that they've created. That's what Final Fantasy does. It's that good. It's just fascinating, and it's all, you know. This all, I guess, began with Dungeons and Dragons. It's all role playing games and stuff. But Alan, did you ever play any of the Final Fantasy games?
Nope.
Okay, so obviously this is a winter topic, about which we can all engage. At least Duke made an effort, Alan. At least Duke was able to wing it. Co-host extraordinaire,
I'm not the co-host on this show, Dan.
aren't you?
No.
Oh. In lieu of a paycheck, you now have a new title. You're used to that. You're now the deputy assistant shift swing manager for your local McDonald's. Okay.
I'm the guy with the cattle prod telling you the show is going to run long. Again!
I know, with only like 2 panelists, I'm unable to meet my commitment. All right, so next up is our WTF category, which is occasionally appearing here. This is, I don't know how to, this is obviously a publicity gimmick of no value.
This is from Japan. That's all that really needs to be said to explain this.
Well, so am I. I'm from Japan. I was born there, Okinawa, 1968.
Yeah, but that doesn't fully explain you.
No, it doesn't. It wasn't really, it was actually U.S. territory there, so it's not Japan's fault that I was unleashed
So
on the world.
explain this to us, Dan.
This is a vending machine that allows you to, and they even have little outfits, and apparently they both have phones in their
Tell
pocket.
what the stupid machine does, for God's sakes!
It sells, you can buy Google Play apps, or you can buy Android apps from a Google Play vending machine, and accompanied by these people in these translucent suits. Obviously not flattering to the female figure. But anyway, it seems kind of pointless, except we're talking about it, and this site ran a story about it. So obviously this is what's called a ploy to get free media. Because
Why
in
do you think
Japan,
it's
everyone's
pointless?
freaked out about any kind of vending machine they can get their hands on.
Why do you think it's pointless?
Because why do you need a vending machine to buy an app for your phone?
Better user interface?
Maybe larger. Better's arguable. Is that a phone in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me, Japanese guy? So there's a phone. I guess they can loan you a phone so you can play with it. And then you can select your app and transfer it to your device, similar to the way you could from any browser on any computer, even an Apple computer.
But, this is going to be... Oh, come on. No. Let's look at the actual practical uses of this thing. Okay?
Okay, here we go. You heard it on this show first. Go ahead, Alan.
Okay, so let us presume that this is going to be in things like an airport, right? Make
Yeah.
sense?
Right?
Okay.
Train
so-
station in Japan, train station.
Right. So, so if you show up at an airport, you've just landed, you're only slightly jet lagged, you've now landed there and you suddenly realize that you don't have a local map, or you don't have the app that goes with the local transit system, or whatever, or you don't have the Japanese translator program. What do? Do you pull out your phone and go, what the hell am I doing? Or do you walk over to the vending machine, which is displaying a bunch of apps that are useful and local and relevant? You touch your phone to it, you touch the app, you walk away because you now have the app on your phone. It's a user interface issue. It makes it easier, it makes it more convenient. It is actually a good idea, and trashing it like you're doing and like Engadget is doing means that you and they have absolutely no concept of how people sometimes use their phones.
Right now, it's only got 18 games available on it. I don't mean if that maybe it's got something else other than games, but 18 games. Square, Sega, Namco, Gameloft, Carosoft. The Play Store basically has hundreds of thousands of apps. I think they could have done better with billboards myself. Don't get me wrong, Alan, point taken, but I think this thing, as it is released right now in Japan, I agree with Engadget. Why would they do it,
Well,
just as it is?
you make a, I mean, you make a point, and what Engadget says there is, what they stupidly say there, in my opinion, is, you could do better with a billboard and a QR code.
Mm.
That's great if you've got a QR code reader loaded onto your device, which, gee, why the hell doesn't Android ship with a QR code reader?
I swear to God, I don't have one. I host 2 tech shows. I'm not at your skill level, Alan, by any stretch. But I have written a computer game that sold in the 6 figures back in the day. And I'm not exactly sure how to use a freaking QR code, nor do I know anyone who uses them. I mean, I'm sure I could download an app and click it, but it's just, I have no interest in that.
Code,
Talk about a failed product.
Code,
Nobody uses those things, I don't
you
think.
hold the phone up, and that's all you do.
How many times have you seen someone use one? Seriously.
Well, I'm sure people have seen me. I definitely use them from time to time.
Dan, let me ask you another question. How often have you seen people use an NFC?
I tried it.
Another comment from Andrew just disappeared. I have no idea what happened to it, but he basically said the vending machine indicates that people like to go out to go shopping, even for apps. At any rate, I think it's clever. I think it's a clever way to distribute things. I mean, it's not like the box itself does anything except provide NFC information to your phone saying, here's where you download the thing from. You're not actually downloading the app from the box.
You think they sell these snazzy outfits in the vending machine?
Probably
This would not
vending
be, if
machine.
you're going to shoplift, you would definitely not want to use these outfits because,
Probably, Dan, probably not that vending machine, but the one next to it.
oh my God. Yeah, don't
Google-
shoplift in these outfits because you will fail.
The Google Swag Store.
They're obviously conquering fashion next. This was just a sneak peek. Oh, wow. Okay.
Next story.
Next story.
Our recommended apps of the week.
Our recommended apps of the
Dan,
week.
what do you have to recommend to us this week?
All right, I have an app that is really cool because I live in a beautiful rural area with black bears and raccoons and coyotes and wolves and not wolves. Unfortunately,
yeah.
one
What
thing
do
we
you got?
don't have is good cell phone coverage. So basically, I have to be a contortionist hanging on my kitchen window sometimes to make a call. So there's this cool app that I really like. It's called Open Signal. And the way it works is it'll tell you wherever you are, it'll give you a map with color codes, like it's a strong signal or a weak signal. And then it tells you where, lakes are in New York. And then it gives you strength for your local Wi-Fi and for your cell tower coverage. This is a neat feature here. This tells you can refresh it, but it tells you where the cell phone antenna that you're connected to, in the form of like a compass with a red arrow. So you can literally walk toward it, and you see it's color coded. Like red is or I don't know what the colors mean, but it as you shift your phone around, the arrow follows the cell tower. And so if you are in, let's say you were considering renting an apartment or picking a dorm room or buying a house, one concern you might have is what networks are good in your area. What's the cell phone coverage like generally there? Another concern you might have is another use case would be if you're considering switching from one carrier to another, and you want to test it at work and at home and find out how strong is Sprint or Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile where I live and work before you make that plunge. You can use this device, and it's just neat, and it's free. It's Open Signal as one word, right here, Open Signal, and I recommend that you check it out. So that's my recommended app of the week.
Very good. Duke, what's your app of the week?
Well, my app is Resize My Pics, and I'm having some AirDroid issues. So I'm just going to wing it from here. First of all, this is a fairly new app on the market. It's got rated 4 stars by 190 people. I went ahead and purchased the version of this. I can't remember it. $3 maybe max. But what does Resize My Pics do? Yes, it resizes pictures, but it can do it in batch format. Basically, what you can do is, and I'll just tell you how I used it. You know, last week I was on my motorcycle, ended up doing about a little less than 1,600 miles before I made it back home. But I would take pictures, and I wanted to send those pictures to my website, but I didn't want to send 5 megapixel pictures to my website. So I was able to take the day's pictures, highlight them, put them in this app, and send them, and then FTP them to my server at 640 by 480. And there is a free version of this. It's got some pretty intrusive advertising on it, but it still works. And this is a great app if you have a need to batch resize your photos that you've taken on your phone. That's Resize My Pics. I really like this app.
Awesome. Alan Furstenberg in New York, do you have a recommended app of the week?
No, I don't.
Awesome. We got to update your little Android figurine with the Kit Kat one.
I didn't want to go with the chocolate one.
Why not?
I just didn't.
Because you're mad that you aren't at the event with Michael Banks and several other of our Moritz and others where there's free chocolate fountains. This is your silent protest.
No, I've got my own event coming up.
And if you ever protest, it will not likely be silent. Just speculating. Okay. Are we good?
You can't handle the silence!
Folks, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Our show, Our Android Week, normally with a fuller panel, but we had quality over quantity tonight.
And normally starting half an hour earlier.
Absolutely.
Ha 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 ha!
Our Android Week airs, broadcasts, or what is it, backdoor, broadcasted? So, since we're creating words. Our Android Week is broadcast on YouTube Live and Google Plus every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Our sister show, Google Plus Week, is Friday nights at Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. We welcome your comments. Please share the show. Please check us out and watch and comment and share your thoughts and all that stuff. So we want to thank you all very much. We appreciate it. And until next time,